not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do. I walk that wire and I take that step. Won't look down, got no regrets. Won't look down, got no regrets. I was made for this.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Common Sense. It looks like we are live. Look at that. Thank you guys for joining me. We've got a packed show tonight, but thank you for joining me. And let me also thank my sponsor, MinutemenCoffee.com. And don't forget, when you order your coffee from MinutemenCoffee.com, be sure to enter the promo code CULP, C-U-L-P, all caps. And when you order 2 pounds or more, you get 15% off your offer. So thank you, MinutemenCoffee.com. And be sure to try out the American Culp coffee. It's my favorite. So, okay, on tonight's show, I'm going to talk about the so-called news media, and specifically about an article that came out recently that puts into question my credibility and painted me as a crooked cop while I was a police chief and canine handler here in Republic. Now, I know that the media doesn't like me, right? Most of them. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last time that they write slanted articles about me, but this particular article is full of outright lies. But believe it or not, it's not the author's fault. And I'll explain that in a minute. What makes this article unique and why I'm bringing this to your attention is that this article paints me out to be a complete liar, hell-bent on violating citizens' constitutional rights every time I deployed my canine partner, Karma. It's been shared on social media so many times it's not even funny, with people making comments about me not being a constitutional conservative, which is the furthest thing, as most of you know, from the truth. The reporter from the Seattle Times, Jim Bruner, even tweeted a statement against me because of it. Just parroting what someone else wrote without fact checking or asking about it himself. My phone still works. What's wrong, Jim? Did you lose my number, or don't you care about the truth? That's what everyone who shared this story did. Oh, it slams Culp, so share, share, share. Truth be damned, right? Even some who would call themselves a conservative. What's really interesting is that not one person called me to ask about it. They just shared it. Share, share, share. Not even the reporter before he wrote the article. I would have happily put him on the right track to get the information from the city and made sure he got all of the information, but that didn't happen. There have been so many people blasting me over it that I lost count. The article came out on the 13th of May, and I've been silent on it up until now. I don't usually even bother with so-called news articles because the media is going to say what the media is going to say, right? And most of you can see through it for what it is. I don't expect the truth from the media most of the time. If running for office has taught me one thing, it's that the media, for the most part, is an arm of the Democrat Party, right? This writer says that his story is backed up by records. Now, I feel sorry for this reporter in a way because he thought he had all the records. That's what he asked for through a Freedom of Information request. Although the article is based on records, it's only based on some records. It's not the reporter's fault. No, it's not. It's the fault of the city of Republic and the Ferry County Sheriff. So why have I been silent on this up until now? Well, I could have spoken out about it when it first came out because I knew it was full of bogus information, but I didn't have the facts in my hand. And I waited until my own public records request were answered because I, like most of you, care about the truth, right? So here's what happened. This reporter, Daryl James from Virginia, put in a public records request for the City of Republic for deployment records of me and Canine Karma. Of all of the police canines and their handlers across the United States, why this reporter from Virginia targeted me, we can only guess, right? Wink, wink, but he did. So the problem is that when he requested this information from the City of Republic, instead of giving it to him, the city clerk sent him to the Ferry County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff's office sent the reporter back to the city because the sheriff knows they don't keep canine records. That's what the reporter requested, was all the canine records and deployments. The sheriff knows that the county doesn't keep that. So what did the city do? Well, they could have called me and asked, but they didn't. They sent the reporter via email back to the county. The county sheriff then basically threw up his hands and sent the reporter everything that they had involving me and Karma. The thing about that, though, is the county keeps only criminal records for the city. So all they had was criminal records. They don't have deployment records. The city does. So, of course, everything the reporter got was an alert from Karma, 100%, because that's all they have in the county. The county kept nothing but criminal records for the city. The city has all of the canine records. The county never had any of them. Again, my phone works and they have my number, but again, no call. So Daryl James from the Institute for Justice wrote the story based on this information, slamming my credibility because no canine should ever alert on anywhere close to 100% of the vehicles that they sniff, which is correct. And I knew Karma never did. So I'm gonna, if I could do this, I'm gonna throw up this article. Let's see if this will work. There's the article. The police dog who cried drugs at every traffic stop. And it's quite a long article. Talks about several things in there. You can see it's very, very long. Probable cause on 4 legs. So he talks about a couple cases. In fact, there's a lawsuit against the city and me on this one. Talks about this lady. Let's see, where are we at here? So it talks about this traffic stop where Karma alerted. And then it says that it gave probable cause to impound the vehicle. The thing about this case was I was responding to a Ferry County deputy who called, who already had the driver in custody for DUI. The driver's in custody for DUI, and the vehicle's getting impounded because it's state law. When someone gets arrested for DUI, the vehicle gets impounded. The story also goes on to say, you know, that basically the only reason that police do this is so they can get money. So the county did a search of the car and they found almost $5,000. Search of the impound yard turned up $4,956 in cash. Now, the lady was arrested, and when a police officer goes into a vehicle and they find cash, they take that cash and put it in an envelope. And that's what happened in this case. It was secured for her, and when she was released by the judge, she was given all of her money back and the keys to her car. So the story is just full of all kinds of untruths and partial truths and twisted to make police look bad. But that's it right there. It's at reason.com. You can read the whole thing if you want to. But we're going to go over a little bit of that. So I knew that Karma never alerted on 100% of the vehicles. I knew it wasn't even close. Because of my freedom of information request, I received the email chains between the reporter and the city and the county. I also received the records that were sent to the reporter from the county. I put in an additional records request to the city for the records that the city has. And this time I was sent all of the records that the city has. They didn't send them to the reporter though. I also requested and got the receipt showing the city paid for the program where the canine records are stored for the city. Now the city tried to tell me that they didn't know about the program, but here's the problem with that. I stood in front of the city council and requested funding for the canine records program, and the city clerk paid the bill for it. So that doesn't hold water. Now I might mention that the city clerk is, I believe, a Biden or Bernie supporter and probably voted for Inslee. Not a huge fan of mine. So was it political? What isn't, right? What isn't? I guess I can get rid of that now, right? There we go. Now I'm back, full screen. So what isn't political, right? The complete records show that out of all of the vehicle sniffs Canine Karma did, some 50 or 60 vehicles, and that's being conservative because we did a lot of stuff at the border. He only alerted on about 25% of those vehicles, and in only 2 of those, we found no drugs. Dogs sniff odor, and if someone has either used or been around someone who used drugs, then the dog will alert. If they had drugs in them before and they're not in there, the dog will alert. They smell it. That doesn't mean drugs will be found all the time. Their noses are very sensitive. For example, in the patrol dog school that I went to, Karma followed a 4-hour-old human track and found the person hiding in the woods. In real life, Karma tracked and found a violent felon who ran into the woods at least 3 hours before we got there. So dogs have very good noses, and Karma has one of the best. So earlier today, what else are you going to do, right? I called the reporter and I talked to him about his article. I was surprised he answered the phone, but he did. And he seems like a nice person. And we talked for maybe 20 minutes. I told him that he didn't get all the records and his story was based on partial information, which makes it completely untrue. And he told me that he was worried about his reputation now that he put out a story based on faulty information. I know the feeling. He told me that he had gotten a recent email from the city of Republic, but hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. I suppose it's the city of Republic covering their ass, but the damage has been done. You can't unwrite a story after it's been released on the internet. Not only has this reporter's reputation been smeared because of this, but so has mine. Right? Who caused this to happen? The city of Republic and the Ferry County Sheriff. The city, because they knew or should have known where the canine records were kept. They approved the program and they paid the bill for it. And the sheriff, who knew they don't keep the records the reporter asked for, but sent what they had anyway, which caused a false story to be written. Unbelievable. So just as a side note, the 2 vehicles, I touched on one a little bit, but the 2 vehicles that the reporter focused on in the article were 2 traffic stops. The one was conducted by the Ferry County Sheriff's Office and one by the Washington State Patrol. The driver of the county stop was already, like I said, in custody for DUI when I got there. Her cash was taken and put as for safekeeping and given back to her the next day by the county. Had nothing to do with that. So the article talks about civil forfeiture. So when you take someone's money for safekeeping and give them back to them when they're released from jail for a DUI, that's not seizing their money. And the second stop was done by the State Patrol, and no one was even arrested in that stop at all. The driver was offered a ride by the State Patrol, whose stop it was, but he declined. Now, 3 things have happened because of this incompetence or willful withholding these records and the turning over of records that the sheriff should have known would paint a false picture. Number 1, a national reporter's reputation is damaged. He was very concerned, and rightly so, about his reputation. My reputation is damaged, just as I'm starting a campaign for federal office. And number 3, the citizens of Ferry County Republic may be on the hook for lawsuits. All for what? So, in closing, if you see anybody spreading this disinformation like so many have already done, now you at least know the truth. As a reporter or a candidate, how do you pull back all of those messages from across the country that were based on misinformation? I have always told the truth, and I will always continue to tell the truth. I will always stand up for your rights, just like I've done publicly since 1639 was passed. All I have is the truth. But that's all I need, right? Because the truth shall set you free. As Paul Harvey used to say, now you know the rest of the story. I'm happy you have the truth. I'm sure there will be many more slandered articles written, and I won't waste your time responding to most of them, but this one deserved our attention. Please like and share this live to help me combat the fake news. I'm going to see if we have any comments or questions, if anybody. How long we've been going here? Okay, we got plenty of time. Let's check out the comments. And this is being simulcast on a few different channels, so I'm not sure that all the questions come through. Dale Baker. I agree, Dale. How you doing? Let's see. They only attack you because they fear your influence. You know what? All the years that President Trump put up with all of the news media, the confrontations at press conferences, it's amazing, right? Somebody once told me, you only receive flack when you're over the target, right? Okay, lots of comments, you guys. Thank you for the comments. Dale, yep, they are not interested in the truth, that's for sure. Pam, you know that you're doing the right thing when they treat you so bad. Isn't it amazing? Yvonne, God is still on the throne and still in control. Amen. He will bring the darkness to light. We're in a spiritual battle. I agree with you, Yvonne. Thank you for the comment. Whatever happened to suing the media for libel and slander? Well, you know, in this case, I don't believe it was the reporter's fault. He asked through a public records request for all deployment records for K9 Karma and me, and the city never sent him any, but the county sent him only criminal cases. So what's the reporter supposed to believe? He gets all these criminal cases, and criminal cases are only criminal cases because there was a K9 alert and we found drugs, right? So of course, when he gets those records, K9 Karma alerted 100% of the time on vehicles. But we know through the records that are now in the hands of the reporter, hopefully he's going to do a retraction, that K9 Karma alerted on less than 25% of the vehicles he was put on, and only out of 2 of those, in that 25%, only 2 vehicles didn't have drugs in them. And let me see if I have it still up. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. I'm playing with fire here. Hang on a minute. I have the public records request. Okay, well, I got to get rid of this screen in order to do that, and I'm not going to lose you guys. So I've got the public records request that I got from the city with the all of the canine records that they did not turn over to the reporter up until apparently when they sent them to me. But in there also, I think, a picture or two of what we found in vehicles. And dang it, I'm kicking myself. I wish I'd have put that up there on my screen, but let me check over here. Oh, how about that? I can share this with you guys. You can see what some of the work that Canine Karma and I did. And you know, it wasn't just about finding drugs and putting people in prison, right? We helped so many people. You guys have seen it, you know, during the governor's campaign. John Donner came out to some of my rallies. And people talked about, there's several people in Republic and in Ferry County that it was a wake-up call to them. You know, they went through drug court, they got clean, they got their families back, they got a job, and in John's case, bought a house, got married, and stayed away from the drugs. That's what it was all about. That's what it is all about. Now, some of the big dealers, here, I'll share this screen. This is one of the deployment records. There we are. Share screen. Here it comes. Come on. Okay, there's one of the traffic stops that Canine Karma was had his nose working really good on. And you can see small bills, small bundles of methamphetamine, a meth pipe, and a ledger with dollar amounts and names of people who owe money. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this person is selling drugs and putting poison into our community. So, but like I said, very few went to prison. There was one that went to prison for 20 years, trafficking in cocaine and heroin, and just caused a scourge of drug violence, overdoses, people dying in Republic. It was horrible. When we first started here, that's why I got my first narcotics dog, Isco, with donations from the public here in town. We got Isco, and we went to narcotics school together. Sadly, he died unexpectedly, and that's how I got Karma. So helped a lot of people, a lot of people. It's amazing. So anyway, okay, real quick, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Dan, you're over the target. They have it fixed. Fake propaganda. Fake propaganda. I heard delegates from Washington went to the Arizona audits. They absolutely did. I heard that as well. Don't be distracted by whatever they throw up on the news media. You guys, One American News Network is covering the audits very well. Don't be distracted. Don't believe what the left is saying about that. You can actually watch it online. It's been broadcast live around the world ever since it started. The rhinos in the Republican Party and the leftist Democrats don't like it. I don't know why. I mean, who wouldn't want the truth, right? Unless you're a liar. So let's see. All right, let's see if we got one more here. Katie, Why do they care about what you and a canine did? Well, because it's about credibility. If they can show that I'm a crooked cop, I don't stand for the Constitution, and I lie, and I make my dog sit around people's cars, even when there's nothing there, just so that I can violate their Fourth Amendment rights and get in their car, then they paint me as a liar, someone who has no integrity. And they know that I'm running for federal office. I'm running for Congress. And so that's what they want to do. That's what they do, right? Karen, they just want to discredit him because he's a good guy, a conservative, a constitutional following patriot. I believe that is true too. But you know what? The truth is the truth. And they're not going to deter me. They're not going to stop me. I'm a fighter. I got that warrior mentality, right? What did Ted Nugent say back there? America needs warriors now more than ever. And Loren Culp is a shining example. Warrior mentality. Never give up, never give in. Okay, you guys, I think that's, I don't see any questions. Sofa King Cool. There's still Culp signs up everywhere in my city. Yes, I know. It's amazing. Everybody knows what happened. I drive across this state all the time. And there's yard signs, 4x8 signs. I surprised a young man. You guys might have heard me talk about it before, but I surprised a young man. I believe it was close to New Halem. I saw a Culp for Governor sign in his yard, pulled into his driveway, went up and knocked on the door with a book in my hand. I didn't think anybody was home. There wasn't a car in the driveway, but knocked on the door, and to my surprise, a young man, probably in his early 20s, came to the door, and he was surprised to see me, but gave him an autographed book, took some pictures for his social media. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, there's a lot of signs everywhere. Dale Baker, so your own town is backstabbing you. Unbelievable. What a bunch of jerks. Well, okay. Remember, a few days before the election, the city council voted to abolish the police department. So let's see. Yvonne, we're in a spiritual battle and never lose faith. God's got this. Absolutely right. God is in charge, not us. We just stand for truth, justice, the American way, right? Okay. I am going to let you guys go. Please like and share this, okay? Help me combat the fake news. Let's make sure that we always stand for America. Let's stand for the Constitution. And let's always stand for the truth, no matter what. And I have a special message for you tonight. Let's send Newhouse to the outhouse. God bless you all. Thank you, and good night.